Hey everyone, welcome to Data Millennials. I am Atul, and in this video we are going to see how we can create and customize a scatter bubble chart in Google Data Studio or Looker dashboard. So we will be creating this scatter bubble plot which you can see on your screen from scratch. But before we go ahead and start creating this scatter bubble plot, let's first discuss what exactly is the scatter bubble plot and how it can be used in your dashboard. A scatter bubble plot or a scatter chart or a scatter graph uses dots to represent values for two different numeric variables for us, which is average height and average weight in kg. The position of each dot over here on the horizontal and vertical axis indicates value for an individual data point. As you can see here, for age 3 the average weight in kg is 6, average height is 2.3, and the difference in the bubble is based on the numeric value of age. 3 is smaller than 4, 4 is smaller than 5, the size of bubble for 9 as example is smaller than the size of bubble of 10. Similarly, size of 14 is larger than the size of bubble for 13. So this scatter bubble chart are used to observe relationships between the variables, and the bubble is used to see is there any kind of outlier or not. And if we talk about the use of a scatter plot, then we can say that it is used to determine whether or not the two variables have a relationship or correlation between them. In Looker, the scatter plot will show you your data points or circle on a graph using x-axis from left to right and y-axis from top to bottom. It can include a trend line that shows how the variable in the chart are related. So bubble chart in Looker Studio shows data with 3 dimensions. It's similar to the scatter plot where the first 2 dimensions are horizontal, which is x-axis, and y-axis coordinate, but it adds a third dimension which is represented in the chart as a size of bubble. So let's go and create a simple scatter bubble chart in our Looker report. So what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to click on edit so that I can get into edit mode. Then I'm going to add a page over here so that I can show you how you can create this scatter bubble chart from scratch. The first thing I'll do is that I'll copy this header and paste it over here. Now, in order to create a scatter bubble chart, you will need a data source. Once you have your data source, then you can go ahead and add a chart option and select scatter plot under the scatter section. But if you have not added your data source, then you can click on resources, then you can click on manage added data sources, and then you have to click on add a data source. This will take you to a connector page where you can click on any of the connectors and connect your data to Looker. Once your data is there, then you can start creating chart. For us, we already have a data over here which we are going to use to create that chart. So I'll show you the data. We have age, we have average height and average weight. So we will try to find a relationship between average height and average weight. Now, to add a scatter bubble chart, you have to click on add a chart first. Then under the scatter section, you will see this second option, bubble chart. You can click on it, and then Looker will allow you to add a bubble chart on the page. So as soon as you add it on your page, you will see that Looker has automatically added some of the dimensions and some of the matrices over here. So we'll get into setup as well as the style section of this bubble chart, and we'll discuss each and everything in detail. So first, let's move this bubble chart left and increase the size of this. Okay, and let's get into the setup section. So the first option in the setup is data source. A data source provides the connection between the component, which is this your scatter chart, and the underlying data set. Now if you want to change the data set for this scatter chart, what you can do is that you can click over here and select any added data source from here. But if you want to add a new data, then you have to click on add data, and you will again get landed on this Google connector page where you can select any of the connectors and you can add a new data set. Once your data is uploaded, then you can go ahead with the next option that we have over here is date range dimension. This option appears if your data source has a valid date dimension. For example, in our data source, we do not have any column related to date, so this date range dimension is blank and we are not getting any option to add any field over here. The next option that we have is dimension. So dimension are the data categories, and the dimension values, or you can say the data contained by the dimension, are the names, description, or the other characteristics of a categorical variable. For us, the categorical variable is age. Even though you can see over here our age is numeric, but it's a categorical variable, and against this categorical variable we are trying to find a relationship between height and weight. Now the next option that we have over here is drill down. So drilling down gives viewer a way to reveal additional level of detail within a chart. When you turn on the drill down option, each dimension that you will add over here becomes another level of detail which you can drill down to. But as in our dataset we do not have any other dimension, so we cannot add this drill down option. Now the next option that we have over here is metric X. So this is metric X, and matrix Y is metrics, and metrics measures the things contained in the dimension and provides the numerical scale and data series for the chart. Metrics are the aggregations that come from the underlying data set. So in metric option, first we have is metric X. It is the X horizontal axis metric. So we'll put weight over here for us. On X axis we need weight. Then we have metric Y. It is the Y axis or the vertical axis on our graph. So we need to put height over here. Now we have a bubble size. So you can put a bubble size over here. You can see over here you have the bubble size, and if you want your bubble size based on any of these fields, you can select this. Okay, so let's keep the bubble size as average weight in kg. Okay, so then we have an option of metric slider. If you set this metric slider on, you see that you have an option of metric slider over here for all of these three matrices: average weight, average height, and this average weight is coming from this bubble size, right? So let's keep this as age only. Okay, so you have this average weight in kg, average height, and age in your metric slider, and if you want you can choose a range of age, and your data within your graph will reflect based on your selection of age. So similarly you can select the height also, and you can select the weight also in the metric slider. So for now let's clear this metric sliders from here and we'll move ahead. So the next option that we have over here is sort. So the sort option here controls the default sorting behavior. You can select any metrics over here, for example age, height, or weight, in the chart data source, from the chart data source basically, to use as the primary or secondary sorting field based on your requirement. You can sort it in ascending or descending order. The next option that we have is filter. So filter restrict the data that is displayed in the component or in this graph by including or excluding the values you want to specify. Now suppose if you want to filter out age 3 from your graph, then what you can do is that you can click on add a filter, then you have to click on create a filter. You will put a name over here, for example age 3 remove. I'll put it age 3 remove as a name. Then I'll select exclude over here because I want to exclude age 3 from my graph. Then for the field I'll select age over here, then the condition will be equal to age 3. Okay, and I'll click on save. Once I click on save, you will see that the age 3 data has been removed from here, right? This is the way you can create a scatter chart filter. Let's remove it for now so that we can show all the data over here. Let's go and click on view, As you can see over here, we have a bubble chart, but we can make it more visually appealing, and with that we can get more inferences out of these scatter bubble chart. And to do that, we have to go into the style properties of this chart. So let's click on edit and go back to the edit page. So this style property controls the overall presentation and appearance of your chart. The first option in this style properties is scattered chart. This section controls the appearance of the scattered chart data. The first option is show data labels. It displays the individual values for the data point in the series. If you select it, then you will be able to see the age that we have selected over here in our bubble size metric. Okay. Now this option is the size. You can relatively increase or decrease the size of bubble, but you will see that the size of this bubble will always depend upon the value which you have set over here. Now the next option that we have over here is number of bubbles. It determines the number of data points to display. If the number of dimension value exceeds this number, which is 1000 by default, then it will only show the 1000 values or bubbles over here. Then after this we have this bubble color. It sets the dimension to use for coloring the data points in your chart. When it is set to none, the bubble displays in your chart in a single color. Selecting a dimension causes the chart to display multiple colors. Suppose if I'm selecting age, then it will get displayed in multiple colors. Now the next option that we have over here is color by. So this section controls how your data is colored. So by default, Looker will select dimension value, and it basically colors each dimension value in the chart with the color specified in the dimension value color map, which you can see over here. Okay. This option ensures that your data uses color consistently regarding the position of the data in the chart. Then we have this bubble order. Now if you want to change the color of the bubble order, then you can change the color from here after selecting this bubble order. Okay, so let's select dimension values only and go ahead. Now we have a reference line. This option, reference line, helps you to compare your data against a particular reference. For example, if I want to put my reference line at a height of 3, then I can put it a reference line over here by clicking on add a reference line. Then I'll put the type as constant value, or I can take the metrics, and the metric that I'll select is the average height. Then the calculation will be average. Okay, average of height, and then I can put a label over here saying that average height which will get displayed over here. Now the next option is show label. So this is the option which basically shows this reference label over here, which is average height. If you uncheck this, then the label of this reference will be hidden, so you should always keep this checked. Now this is the reference line width. If you want to increase the reference line width, you can do it from here, and then you can change the line type, either dotted or you can put it as solid. Let's keep it as dashed, and you can change the reference line color also from here. Let's keep it as red. Okay, now the next option that we have over here is axis, and within this axis we have the first option for show axis. It shows or hides the axis label. So if you check this, then you will be able to show the axis label. If you uncheck this, then the axis label will be hidden. The next option over here is reverse y-axis direction. It controls the vertical display of y-axis. Then we have reverse x-axis direction. It controls the horizontal display of x-axis. Then we have left y-axis. The first option within this left y-axis is show axis title. If you select this, you will be able to see the axis title, but if you unselect this, you won't be able to see the axis title over here. Then we have axis minimum and axis maximum. It sets the minimum and maximum value for the y-axis. Then we have this custom hash mark interval. It controls the interval between the axis ticks over here. You can set the interval at 2 and you will see that your axis ticks has an increment of 2. So let's remove this and keep it auto. Now the next option that we have over here is log scale. It makes the y-axis scale logarithmic. Similarly, we have the same option for x-axis also, which we discussed for left y-axis. Now the next option that we have in style is grid. These option controls the look of the chart grid. So the first option is the axis color. It sets the color of the x-axis line. Then the second option that we have over here is grid color. It sets the color of the grid lines. So most often people prefer transparent grid, so we'll select transparent over here in the grid color. If you want to change the font color, then you can select the font color from here and the font color will be changed for within this grid. Then we have this axis font size. If you want to change the axis font size, you can change it from here, and if you want to change the label font size, you can change it from here. Okay, now we have chart background color. Within this grid you have this background, and if you want to change this white background to some other color, you can change it from here. Okay, so let's undo this. Then we have this chart border color. It sets the color of the inner chart border. So let's select is as this color. Okay, now the next option within style is legend. These options determine the placement of the chart legend that we have over here. Now within this legend, the first option that we have is legend font color. If you want to change the legend font color, you can change it from here. So let's keep it as it is, because with the bubble color it resembles. So let's keep it as it is. The next option that we have is legend font size. You can increase the legend font size based on your requirement. So let's keep it at 18 pixel. Okay, now the next option that we have is legend font family. You can change the font family over here. And then we have this alignment. So if you select this none, no legends will appear. Then we have this right, the legend will appear on the right hand side. Then we have bottom, legends will appear on bottom. And if you select top, then legends will appear on the top. Then we have this alignment. It sets the alignment of the legend relative to the selected position which you have selected over here. So if you select left, then on the top your legends will be left aligned. Now if you want to select center, you will see that your legend has been centrally aligned or aligned to center. And the last option that we have is right. If you select right, then your legends will align to right. So let's keep center over here. Now the next option that we have over here is max line. It sets the number of lines used by the legend. If the number of series requires more line, then we can increase the lines over here. For example, suppose that we have 5 or 10 more series, then we can increase the line. So let me show you an example. So let me add 6 rows here. Okay, and or let's keep till 25. So we'll have age till 25. Okay, and we'll keep the average height similar to height of age 14. Okay, and weight in kg is 40. Let's keep it 6 and keep it 40. Okay, now let's refresh the data over here. You can see that we have some data points over here which is not visible properly, right? And these legends is in a single line. If you want to increase a line, then we can increase line from here to to 3, or even we can go more than 5 lines. So let's go and undo the changes that we have done over here. And again refresh the data. And let's go back to the max line option that we were discussing. So this max line helps you to set the number of lines of the legend. Now the last option that we have in the style is background and border, and within this background and border the first option is background color. It helps you to set the chart background color. Okay, so let's keep it as this color. Then the next option that we have is border radius. So border radius adds the rounded border to a chart background. When you have selected 0, then the background shape has 90-degree corners over here. Okay, but when you select it to 100-degree, then you will see that the background shape has changed to a circular shape. Then we have an option of opacity. It sets the chart's opacity. 100% of the opacity completely hides the object behind the chart, and 0% of the opacity makes the chart invisible. So it's always advisable that you should select either 90% or 100% of opacity. The next option that we have over here is the border color. It sets the chart border color. So let's keep this color over here for chart. Then within the border we have this next option, which is border weight. If you want to increase the border weight, you can increase it from here. So let's keep it 4. And the last option that we have over here is border style. It sets the chart border line style. So you have 4 different line styles. Solid, which you can see over here, we have selected. The next option is dashed. Then we have dotted, and the last option that we have is double. So let's keep dashed over here. Okay, let's go and view our scattered bubble chart. So as you can see here, with the increase of age and with the increase of height, the width also increases, right? So this bubble plot shows us data as a points or circle on a graph using x and y axis, and it helps us to understand the relationship or correlation between two variables. So this is how basically you can create and customize a scatter bubble chart in Looker or Google Data Studio. Happy learning, and see you in the next video.